Once you've mastered the basics of setting up the live stream, you can think about ways to make your stream more engaging. In this tutorial, you'll learn how to produce a high-quality live stream that keeps viewers watching. First, we'll talk about motion graphics. You'll learn when to use over-the-shoulder graphics, lower thirds, and graphic transitions. Next, we'll dive into chroma keying and virtual sets. Finally, you'll learn how to add variety to your stream with camera movement and properly placed switching. Chris here from Videomaker. There are timecodes below if you want to know what we're covering or want to jump to any place in the video. Are you a beginning filmmaker? If so, we have a shopping list of the 9 essential things every beginning filmmaker needs when getting started. To get it, click on this card or click on the link in the description. Motion graphics are a great way to add interest and style to your stream, and they're critical when you need to present a lot of information to your audience. Whenever you have a graphic on screen, a good rule of thumb is to keep it on screen for at least 3 times as long as it takes for you to read fully. This ensures that your audience will have plenty of time to read the text and understand its meaning. Along the same lines, you should aim to use fonts, text, colors, and backdrops that make it easier, not harder, for your audience to read your text. With that out of the way, let's take a look at some commonly used graphics and how you might use them in your next live stream. The first type of graphic that we'd like to talk about is the OTS, or over the shoulder. These graphics appear on screen slightly above and to the side of the presenter. Here's an example. An OTS graphic allows you to provide an additional information to the viewer while keeping the presenter as the primary focus. If you plan to use this type of graphic, make sure to frame your shot so there's enough room for the graphic without any awkward overlap with the presenter. You'll also want to make sure that the background area is relatively free of clutter. Otherwise, the text may be hard to read. Next up, the lower third. This type of graphic is very common. As the name suggests, lower thirds appear on the bottom of the screen. Like this, they usually provide information about a guest or speaker, such as their name and title or occupation. However, they can also give details about a scene in an unobtrusive manner. These graphics can be simple text on the screen, or they can be designed with elaborate flourishes to match the style of the production. Just keep readability in your mind when designing your lower thirds. You don't want your audience struggling to read a guest's name. Graphics can also be used to mark a transition between a scene or a segment. Transition graphics are often animated, but they don't have to be. For instance, you can use a simple full-screen title to introduce a new topic of discussion. Another option is to add a text overlay to an existing shot. In this case, you may need to use blur effect or transparent backdrop over the shot to make the graphic stand out. Whatever form they take, use transitional graphics to keep your stream moving and let the audience know what's coming up next. A single stream can require a number of different motion graphics. Customizing and keeping track of all those graphics can quickly turn into a chore. One solution is to use NewTek's Live Graphics, available with premium access for the NewTek TriCaster TC1. In addition to offering pre-made templates, this tool will let you design custom graphic packages in Adobe Creative Cloud and use them in your live production. Then those graphics can be updated with real-time data from scoreboards, databases, and more, making graphic management much easier. Another way to set your stream apart is through the use of chroma key, otherwise known as green screen. These days, streaming encoders like the NewTek TriCaster Mini 4K have chroma keying capabilities built in. However, if you plan to use green screen effects, it's still best to set up your shot accordingly. Make sure your green screen isn't close enough to reflect green right back into your presenter. You also need to make sure the screen is evenly lit to get the best effect. It's best practice to light the subject and green screen separately. Finally, choose your replacement backdrop with care. Green screen can certainly be used for comic effect, but if that's not the tone of your stream, be careful. Choose a backdrop that isn't distracting and do your best to match the lighting between your original shot and the new image. If you'd like to create an even more dynamic green screen presentation, you can opt for a virtual set, such as those found preloaded on the TriCaster Mini 4K. These range from simple to elaborate, but the basic idea is for virtual set to completely replace your actual studio. You can also create virtual screens within your virtual studio to display graphics or other media next to your presenter. Virtual sets can lend a sense of physicality to your live stream presentation. Camera movement is another component of producing an engaging live stream. It creates variation in your shots and allows each camera to show the most interesting and relevant part of the scene. Just like in any other form of video production, adding camera movement to your live stream opens up new storytelling possibilities. Some of the more common types of camera movement you'll see in a live production includes pans, tilts, and zooms. Less commonly, you'll see tracking, dolly, and pedestal shots. A pan is when the camera pivots horizontally around a single point. Pans are useful for reframing a shot to a different subject or capturing close-ups of the objects or scenes that don't fit in a single frame. Pans can also create drama when used to reveal something previously hidden from the audience. Tilts are similar to pans, except for the camera pivots vertically. They're most useful in emphasizing vertical space and revealing tall objects. Zooms, of course, take us closer to the subject. Though generally frowned upon in narrative production, zooms are an acceptable way to reframe your shot and show more detail during a live stream. With tracking, dolly, and pedestal shots, the entire camera moves from side to side, front to back, or up and down. These usually require more studio space and a dedicated camera operator. To include camera movement into your stream, you'll of course have to have some way to move the camera. You can assign each camera with a camera operator, which is a common, straightforward way to produce a multicam live stream. Alternatively, you could use PTZ cameras, also called pan, tilt, zoom cameras. These cameras allow adjustment of the camera angle and framing from a remote location. Plus, NDI-enabled PTZ cameras like the NewTek NDI HX PTZ3 can do all of this over a single network connection. Finally, the last key to producing an engaging live stream is proper pacing. By this, we mean how and when you switch between your different video sources. Like any production, the proper placing of your live stream will depend on the content of your live stream and your target audience. However, there are a few general rules you can use as a starting point. Don't switch too often. Changing the camera angle too often makes your stream chaotic and confusing to your audience. Unless this is an effect you're going for, let your audience reorient themselves after each cut before switching again. On the other hand, don't hold one shot for too long. Pacing that's too slow will bore your audience. Motivated cuts always feel more natural. So if you aren't sure when to cut, look for cues. Catching a guest reaction, getting a close-up on a product, or bringing up a relevant statistic or slide are all good reasons to switch inputs. And finally, mix it up. Avoid switching between the same two shots over and over again. Include different angles and media sources so your cuts don't become repetitive. Here are our top tips for creating a more engaging live stream. You can use motion graphics to give your viewers more information and chroma key effects and virtual sets to transport your stream beyond your studio. Then add camera movement either with the help of a camera operator or a PTZ camera to add variety and direct your viewers' attention. Finally, make sure your pacing is on point to keep viewers watching. As you plan your next live stream, consider how you can use these strategies to make sure viewers are excited to keep watching. Remember, if you'd like to get our shopping list of the 9 essential things every beginning filmmaker needs, click on this card here or the link in the description. If you've made it this far, consider subscribing and liking this video. In the next video, we'll cover 5 ways to improve your next live stream. Thanks for watching.